Hello and welcome to a Squadron 42 and AI Development Monthly Report. We look at what Cloud Imperium have been working on for the last few weeks and their current focus now in August for their single-player campaign and the AI behind both their games, Star Citizen and Squadron 42. So let's start with those AI teams. AI content teams have progressed with their work on Squadron 42's world lines. Currently, the only remaining characters are specific cases that need in-level implementation. The team also wrapped up the usables for the CDO level. Nearly all usables are now implemented with working blockouts. The designers are currently implementing the new usables first reaction system, which allows NPCs to break out of the usables when they are being interrupted by a player. Last month, the AI feature team primarily focused on reviewing combat with the aim of refining existing behaviors and functionality. The first part of this was reviewing the settings for perception and reactions to give the designer greater control over how the AI behaves when encountering a stimulus. Next, they worked on basic combat behaviors, ensuring cover selection is working as intended, and that the AI provides the base level of functionality after the first reaction to the enemy. They also worked on specific behaviors to enable AI to spread out and surround the player and taunt them while in melee combat. Melee, why do you pronounce that word? I've always used both interchangeably in my life. Close combat behaviors received attention to ensure they quickly switch to combat when the situation requires to. Finally, the animators continued to work on speed protocol and polish stages for mocap cowering and surrendering animations. AI Tech enabled the planetary navigation system to make connections between adjacent mesh tiles, which is part of the base work to add support for planetary pathfinding. They updated the tile generator debug drawer to also work with planetary navigation mesh tiles to help them debug issues that could appear during the planet mesh generation steps. Work was submitted to allow NPCs to push a trolley along a path, including playing an animation to connect to the trolley, selecting a path, pushing the trolley along a path, disconnecting from the trolley at the end, and moving away. For movement with the trolley, the team considered the size of the agent for collision avoidance and looked at animations used for pushing it uphill and downhill, or when the NPC needs to turn the trolley to orientate with the path. Time was also dedicated to improving quantum travel behavior in a group. Now, the leader checks that all participants, including the player, if they're part of the group, have finished spooling before sending the signal to jump. Let's move more on to Squadron 42 specific stuff, although it's not entirely Squadron 42. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is used for Persistent Universe as well, and vice versa. July saw the animation team refactor weapons, select and deselect to better work with the new character editor UI. They also continued developing zero-G movement, drunk locomotion, vandal locomotion, cowering and surrendering, arcade machine states, hacking blockouts, and vendor development. The salvage weapon and usables for medical gameplay were also worked on, and they began refactoring AI locomotion systems to prepare for the new personality-based locomotion cycles. Elsewhere, the aircraft carrier launch crew animations were factored to the female character model. Work on vending machine uses is progressing, and the team looked at existing assets, closed out any usables requiring further work, and resurrected any worthy but unusable usables. For facial animation, the team improved facial animation results for the new incoming models, added facial animation to various usables, and supported narrative on a motion capture shoot. Character art finalised work on all hero heads, including Wade, McLaren, and Mason. They also made a geo-polish pass, added a eye assembly, completed a hair refinement pass, and tested a new in-house skin shader. Additionally, they put the finishing touches to Trejo's outfit. The concept team began creating Vandal Warrior variants, and the first pass on the Screaming Gallisons faction was completed. Environment Art said that the Bengals medical bay is approaching completion. We are extremely pleased with the results as we tweak it to hit a standard of quality we aim to set within Squadron 42. And for Chapter 19A, the team pushed towards a visual target that will set the tone, style, and quality of the tail end of the campaign. Audio! July saw the dialogue team record additional voiceovers, which are currently being prepared for implementation. Composition also continued with Pedro Camacho working on music for quantum travel. I love you, Pedro. You are a musical genius. Features gameplay. The Squadron 42 feature team continued their ongoing track view support, adding functionality including a new frame of reference where the content creators can specify what entities in a sequence are relative to, so when the sequence moves, everything else in the sequence automatically moves relative to it, like when people are in an elevator. Gameplay story. At the start of July, Gameplay Story completed a 2-day mocap shoot and are currently preparing to process the captured animations, facials and audio. They also continued to work on a variety of chapters, each with a slightly different focus. For Chapter 4, they completed maintenance work. So for Chapter 14, they made a polish pass, and for Chapter 18, they started working on scenes. However, Gameplay Story's major focus was on Chapter 5, where they replaced all placeholder content with new mocap animations to bring its scenes up to a particularly high standard. Graphics and VFX programming made improvements to the quality of the hair rendering shader in comms calls and refactored the shared code responsible for the depth pass, shadows, motion blur, and silhouette rendering. This fix will prepare for some of the Gen 12 features and requirements for their Gen 12 renderer. So this is really important for Vulkan and lots and lots of getting graphics options in the game and optimization. Super important. The reworked rendered to texture post-effect pipeline was completed and is now with the UI artists for testing. Level design. The space and dogfight team are currently finalizing how the AI buddy works for spaceflight, which involves both combat and non-combat ambient behaviors. They are also in the process of implementing and refining the new features they received last quarter, such as scanning and ping, and how they are used by the AI. Narrative kicked off the month with a motion capture shoot in the UK, with several team members attending remotely. The team also reviewed several levels with design to look at updated layouts and flows. Some moments that would benefit from additional scripting were identified, so drafts were written and passed along so versions of the lines could be added into the game in at least placeholder fashion. With additional work being done on the scanning mechanic, Narrative attended several meetings to talk over various topics, such as how enemy groups will be identified and what kind of information will be visible to the player. QA! So Cinematics relied on QA for recording of each level so they can ensure scenes are working and are of the intended quality. Support continues for development teams as well, with QA testing changes and updates to the wider project. QA also tested behavior implementation, running daily checklists and reproducing issues so they can be fixed by the relevant teams. Tech animation. This quarter sees the team coming back to their support roles, assisting in the creation and implementation of key deliverables, including AI combat iteration, usables, and head assets that require art refinements. UI. The embedded UI team supported various HUD-related features such as scanning, inventory, and vehicle UI. The core team worked on various tech that's used across the game, including improved holographic 3D objects, lists, and controls. VFX. Last month, the team put the finishing touches to a key location for their internal milestone. VFX also helped prototype and test a new tool to allow artists to export positional data from Houdini straight into the game engine. This opens up various opportunities for creating more complex but flexible art and design setups. Boom! That's it for Squadron 42 this time. I think, really, at the moment, if you're thinking about when is Squadron 42 going to be released, I think at the earliest that we could see that would be it materializing at the end of 2022. I think that's relatively optimistic, but we don't really know at the moment, but I think that's really the earliest it could turn up. That's what I'm hoping for. We are going to have to wait and see. Cloud Imperium are going to start doing a more traditional sort of advertising campaign and start sort of showing more development updates for Squadron 42 when it is closer to launch. And Chris Roberts more recently said that he was returning to the UK to finish out Squadron 42. So towards the end of 2021 or the very beginning of 2022, Chris Roberts going to the UK, and those are the key members of staff that he's got sort of focused on Squadron 42 now, but he wants to finish that out. So I think it's reasonable to assume that they will be finishing it out throughout 2022, hopefully for a release at the end But what do you think? When do you think we're going to see Squadron released? And what do you think about the AI updates? Do you think that Squadron 42 and Star Citizen's Persistent Universe is going to have great AI? Or how's the development going? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Is it too slow? Well, obviously it's too slow. I think that's reasonable, but I mean, I want a good game. But whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Mummy, I'm going to play Star Citizen when I get home. Well, little Timmy, you can't because hackers stole our house.
This is a story I hear only too often. It was just one day before these two were going to get NordVPN. Now they have to live on the streets. Don't let that be you. Get NordVPN in the links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For August, we are giving away a Mercury Star Runner, the fantastic multi-crew hauler data mission runner, allowing you to do a little bit of everything the Star Citizen has to offer. To be in for a chance of winning that, comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details in the links below. If you'd like to further support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. The join button down below, you'll get some exclusive videos and content each month, and it really does help us keep going. There is also the new thanks button under my videos for another way of throwing money at us. Both me and Zin appreciate all the support for the channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.